The world's most famous monsters pit against malevolent creatures who, bolstered by humanity's scientific arrogance, threaten our very existence. This is my review of Godzilla. The first trailer I saw for Godzilla was the leaked trailer from San Diego Comic-Con from last year, and that trailer was really good in my opinion because it sort of showed you what this Godzilla is going to be about, even though it just showed 10 images or something of these cities and towns that were just devastated or destroyed. And then when the teaser trailer and then when the official trailers came out, it made me even more pumped for this movie, and it made this movie on my top 15 most anticipated movies of this year, and it was at number 5. I was also excited for this movie because of the director that they had for this movie, who is Gareth Edwards, who also made an independent movie a few years ago called Monsters, which I thought was good, and I thought the cast that they had for this movie was great as well. So after seeing Godzilla with my dad, I have to tell you guys that Godzilla is a great movie in my opinion. The good points. The thing I like most about this movie was the directing from Gareth Edwards, and I thought that his directing was so good because he brought Godzilla on the screen on a large scale, on a grand scale. He also did the same thing for the monsters that were in this movie as well. He also made the film feel like that the story was on a global scale, even though the movie takes place in the countries surrounding the Pacific Ocean, but still it felt like it was on a global scale because of the fact that he made Godzilla on a grand scale. Another good point about this movie is the camera work in it, or the cinematography I should say, because it made the scenes that weren't that interesting in the movie interesting because there was the shots were set up in a way where it made the scene intriguing. And I thought the camera work was done really well during the battle scene, and all the other action shots that were in this movie as well. In my opinion, the visual effects in this movie were superb. I mean, that's another huge good point about this movie were the visual effects, because they put a lot of detail in the destruction of these cities and with the creatures. I mean, especially Godzilla, because when there's close-ups of Godzilla or shots where you got to see his face only, you could see the amount of detail that the visual effects people put into Godzilla. Another thing I liked about this movie was the sound design. Not just the sounds of things exploding or things crumbling down, but the sounds that the monsters made, like their roars, especially Godzilla's roar, because I checked out this video on YouTube which showed clips of the different Godzilla roars throughout the years, and once I heard the older versions compared to this newer version, I was like, man, that this newer version sounds better than the older version. No offense to people that like the older version Godzilla roars, but I just like this one personally. The next good point is the battle scene that's in this movie between Godzilla and, I'll tell you guys in the spoiler section of this review, but all I have to say right now is the battle scene was awesome in my opinion, and it paid off. I thought the score was really good because it captured many moments of the movie where it felt like, yep, that's a really good part of the score because it captures this epic moment or this dramatic moment or this action-packed moment, or it's really good at building up the scene. Another good thing I liked about this movie was the acting from most of the cast. The people that I thought did the best jobs in the roles were Bryan Cranston and Ken Watanabe. And I think the reason I found their acting roles to be the best was because of the characters that they had, because they were the most interesting characters in the movie, and they were supporting characters. And the final good thing I'll say about this movie was that they left the movie open-ended enough for there to be a sequel. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind there to be a sequel for Godzilla. The bad points. The problem I had with this movie was the fact that they underused Bryan Cranston in the movie, And because of the fact that they underused Bryan Cranston, they had to have Aaron Taylor Johnson, who plays the son of Bryan Cranston's character, to be the leading role in this movie. And I just found his storyline in the movie not that interesting. And I'll get more involved in like what they could have done better in the spoiler section of this review. Another thing I didn't like about this movie was the some of the teasing of the battles in this movie, and I don't know, like some people are complaining that like they like overused the teasing of the battles like way too much, but I thought that it was sort of the right amount of teasing, but it got past a point where it sort of started to get annoying for me. And the last problem I have with this movie, and the final bad point I have to say about Godzilla, is the writing. The reason this is a bad point is because I thought that they should have made Aaron Taylor Johnson's storyline in the movie a little bit more interesting, and I thought that they could have developed a few more scenes. And I also thought that there were just some moments in the movie where it just didn't make sense to me, or I just thought it was coincidental. And I'll get to that in the spoiler section of this review. Alright, ratings. Like I said, I saw this movie with my dad, and my dad gives this movie a 3.25 out of 4 stars, while I give it a 3.5 out of 4 stars. If you're a Godzilla fan, then I'm sure you're gonna like this a lot. If you're not a Godzilla fan, then yeah, I think you'll still like it. I mean, there may be a few parts where you might not like, but I think overall you'll like the movie. Alright, spoilers. If you want to see Godzilla, this version of Godzilla still at the movies, then get over now, because I'm going to be spoiling some stuff, and it's a little bit obvious that I'm going to be spoiling since it says right here, like, hello, spoilers. But yeah, if you still want to see this version of Godzilla in the movie theater, then get over now so nothing is spoiled for you. So like I said in good points, I thought the battle scene was a big payoff because of what they gave Godzilla to face in this movie, and like it's sort of like, okay, like where are they gonna go now with who Godzilla's gonna face in the future movies, if there are gonna be future movies. I like the fact that it was a 2-on-1 situation, and that Godzilla was facing the two Mutos, and like Godzilla was like fighting pretty good at first, but then they were like tag teaming on him and like beating him up a lot. But then the number one thing about this film that surprised me happened, and that's when Godzilla was charging up for his atomic breath, and you saw the fins on his like tail like starting to charge up, and then it went like all the way up his spine up to his head, and it was like, oh my god, ah! And then he like fires his atomic breath, and it's like, ah! I found that moment really cool because I didn't know like what they were going to do with atomic breath in Godzilla. I knew that there was atomic breath because I saw bits and pieces of the old movies, but I didn't really know if they're going to go for that in this movie. But I'm glad that they did, because the next best part happened. It was like after Godzilla killed the winged Muto with his like tail whip, he went to the other Muto and grabbed his jaws and pulled them open. I thought he was gonna do like a King Kong thing at first, like ripping the jaw or breaking the jaw or whatever. But no, he grabs the jaws, like pulls them open and looks down the Muto's neck and like spits his atomic breath into like down his throat, and he rips the head off, and it's like, yeah. Alright, on to the bad points I was talking about earlier. So yeah, like I said earlier, one of the bad points I said was that they underused Bryan Cranston's character, and by underuse, I mean kill him off really early in the movie, and when that happened, I was like, whoa, what? I didn't expect that to happen, because the way they were portraying him in the trailers, it made it seem like he was going to have like sort of a bigger supporting role in this movie. But no, it's like they kill him off really early in the movie, and it's like, oh, come on, that's like a huge waste of talent. And not just a huge waste of talent, but a huge waste of storyline material as well. Because I could have seen Bryan Cranston's character like have like a storyline with his son as they build their relationship back up again. And I thought that Bryan Cranston's character could have had a lot of interactions with Ken Watanabe's character, since Ken Watanabe knows what killed Bryan Cranston's character's wife. And I thought that it would have been cool if Bryan Cranston's character helped Ken Watanabe's character out, and it would have been cool to have seen like their interactions with each other. And the reason I didn't find Aaron Taylor Johnson's character's story to be interesting was because of Aaron Taylor Johnson's acting. And really, I think that this is due to the bad writing that happened as well, because like he was like, it seemed like he was given nothing, because it just seemed like he was just this stone cold soldier. Like after his father died, like I thought that Johnson's best acting in this movie was when his father died. I mean, other than that, like he didn't have any like better moments to remember him by. And like I said, the bad points about the writing was that there were some parts that were coincidental, and the thing that I found coincidental was that Aaron Taylor Johnson's character is EOD. It seems like he's the only person like around these incidents where he's the only bomb disposal person. It's like, really? Like, this is like really coincidental, or I don't know what you want to call it. It just didn't make sense to me that his character was the only person that was an EOD person, and like no one else was. I mean, it was just strange to me. I also found it interesting that Aaron Taylor Johnson's character was the only person that thought it was a good idea to destroy the Muto's eggs, because like I've been thinking the same thing. Like, I know they're on a mission to just get the nuke, but it was sort of like, guys, maybe we should destroy these eggs also, because like look at what these two Mutos already did. I mean, and look, there's like hundreds of them like around us. Like, should we do something? No? Okay, let's just get the nuke out of here. That was my review for Godzilla. Hope you guys liked it, and other than that, that's it.